FreshFace is used to quickly and easily add subtle facial beauty effects to video images featuring human faces. It offers natural-looking skin smoothing as well as precise eye and mouth level adjustments for use on close-up or medium-distance human face shots. It combines a powerful skin smoothing algorithm with precise masking driven by the latest machine learning-based face tracking. Okay, the FreshFace plugin supports Apple Final Cut Pro, Adobe Premiere Pro, and Adobe After Effects on macOS. I'm here in Apple Final Cut Pro and I have an image with a clear human face in it, so let's take a look at FreshFace. Then go to the effects in the search bar and type FRES, and I already have it here. Drop it here on this clip in the timeline. So you can see by default it's already doing something, and what it's doing is a little bit of skin smoothing. You can see that's the only group enabled by default. And you'll also notice that there's this filter overlay. When the filter is selected here in the inspector, you get this overlay and there's this bright orange detect button. And just going to explain that first of all. So if I go into this preview masks mode, you can see that it's created a mask for the skin smoothing and it's tracking the face features. And it says one face detected, tracking is live, no motion smoothing, click detect button to pre-track the clip. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to go out of this mode for a moment. You see this bright orange button here. I'm going to click it. You get the detecting window and the progress bar. It's already done. Now you see the button is no longer orange. And what that indicates is that there's now tracking data for all the frames of the clip, and there's smoothing and whatnot. So it says tracking is pre-tracked and smoothed. So generally that's what you want to do at some point when you're creating your effect. This link here will take you to a video in the tracking group banner that sort of describes the tracking workflow in a little bit more detail. But for now, we're going to move on to the skin smoothing, and if I blow up the image a little bit here and sort of frame it up, get a little bit of the forehead in there too. So again, if I toggle this on and off, you can kind of see what it's doing. If I have the filter selected here again in the inspector, along with this detect button, you get a few other pop-up menus, and one of them is this presets. And these presets install by default, and it uses the medium smoothing values by default when you apply it, but you could try something a bit heavier. You could try something a bit less. I'll stick with the medium for now, but there's various sort of alternate default starting points here, and you can save your own presets and stuff like that. And another way of looking at what it's doing, if I enable this compare wipe and I sort of drag this back and forth, and if you look up at the forehead or the tip of the nose or a little bit under the eyes as I sort of wipe back and forth, you can see it's sort of minimizing the pores and bumps and a little bit of lines under the eyes. So that's what the skin smoothing is giving you by default. And if you're just doing skin smoothing, maybe you're actually done with the effect at this point. There are other things that I'm not going to go into in as much depth right now because this is more of an intro video, but this eyes and mouth, if I select this and you watch the eyes and mouth on the image, you see how the eyes got a little bit brighter and the lips got a little bit darker, the gamma is adjusted and stuff like that. There's a bunch of parameters in here, and these all have their individual videos that go into it in more depth that can be accessed right here. Each feature has its own checkbox and its own mix parameter. So if you say, yeah, those eyes look pretty cool, but I think that's a bit much, you can dial it back a little bit with this. If it's all the way down, it's like the eyes are disabled, and then, anywhere in between is going to have some kind of an effect. And that's true for lips, have that, as does skin. So, if the feedback you get from this effect is, that looks great, but maybe it's a bit much, could we sort of reduce it a little bit? One way of reducing it is this, you basically, if it's 0, it's like there's no skin effect, but you could try it at like 80%, 70%,